So let's start. My name is Gabriele Quaresima. I'm a staff software engineer in EDB, and here there is a list of things I love. But let's start with, oh, should I don't know where should, perhaps here. Okay. Should we start with a survey? How many of you use Kubernetes? I guess. Okay. How many of you use PostgreSQL? Okay. How many of you use PostgreSQL on Kubernetes? Wow. Okay. Okay. Don't be shy. Okay, let's start. So the talk of today is about CloudNativePG, and is a CNCF sandbox project since January. And it's an open source operator, and is designed to manage PostgreSQL workloads on any supported Kubernetes cluster. And it defines a new Kubernetes resource called, unfortunately, cluster. That is overloaded of meanings, but yeah. And a cluster, a CRD cluster, represents a PostgreSQL cluster made up of a single primary and an optional number of replicas, usually 2 replicas. So let's take a quick view on PostgreSQL, even if you guys know perfectly what it is. But yeah, it's one of the most famous database management systems. It's active since 35 years old, and it's got a liberal license. You can use it, modify it. You can do whatever you want with Postgres. Also because there are a lot of wonderful features and SQL standard support. But perhaps the most interesting thing of Postgres, in my opinion, is the extensibility. You can plug it and add whatever you want in Postgres. Also, the word of the extension is is matter for not for another talk. It's matter for another conference. And if you, I don't know if you use Postgres with AI in this AI time, but PG Vector is one of the most famous, not the only one, but yeah. There are a lot of extension, the possibility to have this extensibility with Postgres. And also is loved by the developer. So most recent Stack Overflow survey say that Postgres is the most loved database. So this is Postgres. Then a bit review of the Kubernetes operator. What is an operator? Basically, something in the middle between the Kubernetes API and the user that is looking to a custom resource, watch a custom resource, and do some stuff, reconcile. So we can say that Kubernetes operator are software extension to Kubernetes, and they follow Kubernetes principle, obviously. The first one, the most important one, is the control loop. Then we will see another picture later. So via the operator, you can stop to think about your application like a collection of Kubernetes objects, but just to put the focus on top of them to the custom resource definition that you define. So basically, you have your own declared desired state that is observed, and there is this control loop. The operator analyzes the changes and try to reconcile and make the current state align with the one that you desire. There are five levels of capabilities. The operator, starting from the basic install through right to the autopilot. And CloudNativePG is an operator of level 5. So it has all of this stuff. So yeah, metrics, alert, lifecycle, everything. You can write your own operator. Why not? There is plenty of SDK, not only in Golang, even if Kubernetes API Kubernetes is written in Golang, so the most famous are updated and in Golang, but you can choose the language you prefer. Yeah, you can design these declarative APIs for operator and interact with your own custom results definition. This is perhaps the most important slide. So basically, we have PostgreSQL and Kubernetes do two giants, two important projects. And the purpose of CloudNativePG is to put them together and to make something special with them. So let's take a look closer to CloudNativePG. This one is the most simple example of the definition of a cluster. So basically, we have just one name, the number of the instance, and the size of the storage, nothing else. Then the operator will enforce some default, and you can specify also, you can add a lot of stuff in the spec if you want. This is the bare minimum stuff that you have to actually apply the CRD. This is the suggested architecture. So you see you have 3 worker nodes with a primary, 2 standbys. Here there is also pictured the Kubernetes service for the PostgreSQL primary. There is a read-only, read-write service, but also there are the read-only services for the standbys and the local persistent volumes. So one of the things that make CloudNativePG a bit different from the other operators around is the direct control, direct management of the persistent volume claims. So basically, the operator creates a PVC for each PostgreSQL instance with the goal of storing the PG data and mount it on each pod. Also, the container storage interface for the PVCs can allow you to perform volume snapshot backup and restore, online resides, and PVC cloning, if your storage class support, obviously. This is a list of some of the features that CloudNativePG offers, like the integration with the API server, high availability, planned switchover, scale up, scale down, definition of instances and services, declarative management of, I think, all or almost all the PostgreSQL configuration parameters, also backup both on volume snapshot and object store. Major Postgres upgrade is one of the most recent ones. Also, you have the possibility to, with the CMPGI, to define your own plugin. For example, you want another kind of backup. Or you can have also, there is also a kubectl plugin that we will see in the demo, can be helpful for looking at the status of the cluster, collect report, or promote a replica to be a primary, so to perform a switchover. And also, we introduced a lot of other CRDs, a lot of declarative stuff like table spaces, databases, publication, and subscription in order to perform a declarative way, to have the logical replication via a declarative way, a full declarative way. You can have nice topology like this one. So you can have a replica cluster across different Kubernetes cluster. So here you can also think about this architecture like something that could allow you to do the switchover of data center. Yeah, it's very, very interesting to see how it works. Also, there is another CRD again, another declarative way. You can add the PG bouncer on top of your application. So basically, you can rely on this pooler CRD. You will have this deployment that is between the application and the PostgreSQL service to have this connection pooling. The installation, you can install roughly the manifest. Actually, this is an old one. We are on the 1.27.1, so I need to update my slide. And also, you can use the Helm chart, or if you are on OpenShift, you can use the OLM on Operator Hub. This is also a very important slide because there is no operator without operand. So the operand images, the PostgreSQL images, are aligned with the one of the PostgreSQL community. So any days they are, is ensured that there are no severe CVEs. And also the community provide images for Postgres. That is one of the most famous extensions. And there is also a way to create your own custom container image. So there are a blog article from one of the maintainers. Also, yeah, you can have observability. There are a lot of metrics that are exposed. We will see later in the demo. And also the logs are all in JSON format. We can have also the plugin helping with logs like the status command that we will see, but also some other commands like the one that collect all the reports. And this is the plugin, and with a lot of important and useful commands. We will see some of them in action later. This is a slide about what personally I love of CloudNativePG. I love the massive suite of end-to-end they're running on the CI/CD pipeline, the documentation, also the members, the maintainers, colleagues, and the community enthusiasm in the CNCF channels. And this is a picture from the latest KubeCon in London, the one of this year. We have been invited to perform a demo on the project pavilion. CloudNativePG is production ready. Actually, became the de facto standard to deploy PostgreSQL in Kubernetes. Is the only one accepted in the CNCF from the CNCF. Is now currently in the CNCF sandbox, but we hope that we will move it forward through the other steps to make it more and more in the Kubernetes world. Also, you can find these Slack channels inside the CNCF Slack workspace, the CloudNativePG dev and CloudNativePG users. You can reach us and ask whatever and see in the many different configuration people use this CloudNativePG. This is one of the most recent slides I added is Linux Foundation inside, and is a table that resumes some health score of CloudNativePG and some other stuff. It's interesting. CloudNativePG has been originally created by DB, but is 100% open source, and now is a CNCF product again. And there is a lot of adopters like Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, IBM, and EDB itself, obviously, and a lot of end users. You can find the list in the repo, in the site, in the website, but also in the GitHub repo. Together with the operator, there are some other parallel projects like the Unchart maintenance, the CMPGI, Grafana dashboard for looking at the Prometheus metrics, Postgres containers, Cyclops. There is the CloudNativePG playground if you want to play locally. So there is a lot of stuff. Also, obviously there is a website, there is a GitHub page, the reference on the CNCF sandbox project, and some social links. And also there is a lot of resources around. There are a lot of blog articles from maintainers, but not only, also from, there are, for example, a talk on the KubeCon comparing database operators around. And also there is the Data on Kubernetes community. There is something important. One maintainer and other contributors belongs to the Data on Kubernetes community, like ambassadors. And it's very important to break this barrier, to put the data, also the data on Kubernetes, and not only on Postgres, obviously. In Data on Kubernetes, there are found on any databases or similar products. Oh, okay, just demo time, okay. So I'm going to start to do some stuff. Feel free to interact with me if you need to wait something. If we want to ask me something during the demo, what I'm doing, or also, more generally speaking, a more general question, you can do it. So let's start to do some stuff. Let me show you what I just did for saving some time. I just did a simple thing. I've just applied this command here. That is basically create a cluster kind locally. Kind is Kubernetes in Docker. So basically you can have your own Kubernetes on your machine, relying on Docker. And basically we create Kubernetes kind cluster, and we load and deploy the CloudNativePG operator inside. And that's it. It requires 1 minute, 2 minutes, but yeah. That's it. So now we can start to do some stuff. For example, we can try to see if there is our operator somewhere. And if it is logging something, yeah. Starting CloudNativePG operator, blah, 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 the webhooks, okay. It's there. Awesome. Let's go to my CloudNative Bergen folder. And let me show you what I'm going to apply. I'm going to apply this. So basically, it's very, very similar to the one I showed in the slide. Just I specified the image name because I want to also to perform an upgrade of Postgres. So I want to start not with the default, but with an older one, with a 16 version. And I choose Norway as name. Yeah, let's do some stuff. Okay, let me exit. Okay, let's apply. Let me be explicit with commands. Okay, we can start to see some stuff, perhaps also in parallel. Let's do something like that. We can see that we have a job of initialization of a pod, but let's also take a look on other stuff. Let me split the screen. And we can take a look on our cluster status. Meanwhile, we are in progress. So basically, we are creating a new replica. You see there on the right. So this is a cluster info. But we can also take a look deeper inside the cluster to see what is now in the cluster, what the operator enforces as default. So we can start to take a look also there. Let's do something like that. Let me exit from this. Let's take a look now at the spec, more in general on this manifest. This is CRD. So as you can see, there is a lot beside the image name. There is a lot of parameters, a lot of specification here. There are all the PostgreSQL parameters that the operator enforces for us. But we can edit, we can apply directly with a new spec. And also here there is the status. So we have the services, the DNS names. Also, yeah, cluster is not ready. It's not ready because it's creating the new replicas. The name of the PVCs that are being created, the instances name. So there is a lot of stuff. But also we can take a look at the same stuff relying on our plugin. We can take a look at the status of our Norway cluster. Let me do it with a less. So, let's do like this. So yeah, there are some important information like the primary instance is Norway 1, and the status, now it's ready, cluster is in LT state, we are happy. And also there is no backup configured for the purpose of this demo, but you will find backup information here also. And there are some other interesting stuff. Now, let's enter a pod and see that Postgres is there. Awesome. PSQL, Postgres is the 16, as we expect. Let's create a table. Something like that. And we can also insert some value. Like 28. Yeah, something like that. So yeah, let's see that also from the replicas, we have the same visibility of the table. So I can do the same command, but enter in the second pod. That is a replica. And you can see we can also try to create another table here, but this is a replica with only read-only permissions. So you cannot execute create table in a read-only transaction. Awesome. This is what we expect. Now, we can, for example, we can plan a switchover. We know that the primary is the pod number 1, so we can actually do something like that. We can promote in the cluster Norway pod number 2. We can take a look at the cluster. Yeah, switchover in progress. So now it's basically, okay, it's done. But now we can do something. We can do something a bit more dangerous. We can delete the primary that now is Norway 2. And see again the cluster that now should reactivate another pod. Another is
when you do these kind of things, the client, the consumer doesn't notice anything of this. If they have a select statement, they don't notice anything.
no. If you no, because the first thing the operator is doing is to pick up a new primary. So basically, you maintain all the transaction. If it is a read-only, a read transaction, doesn't care. But yeah, it's.
What about the write then? Does it suspend it until it can be executed?
Yeah, I guess that the service is not able to be reached at that moment, but it's very, very, very fast. See, if you see, we have just performed a failover in several seconds. Yeah, obviously.
You wouldn't sort of,
yeah, you have.
Your application would have to handle that, right?
You could have some kind of architecture like having the replica cluster, and you start to upgrade one of them, so you can achieve some zero downtime.
You have to sort of handle that some transactions could fail in
Yeah, if this kind of operation, yes. So that this is the reason why you should set up also backup around. They are not set up now in this demo, but yeah, obviously you should have it. Nice. Okay. Let me do something more Kubernetes CRD likes. So let me show you our Bergen database. So this is a database CRD. The name of the object will be db-bergen. The name of the database inside Postgres will be Bergen. And the cluster that this database belongs is the one that we already created, is Norway. And we declare that we want PG vector. So will be, again, in a declarative way, you can say that you want this extension. We will check if it will be created. Let's enter one of the pods, no matter what is. Can take a look at the databases. You see, there is our Bergen database. We can connect on it, and we can see that vector is installed. Let's do something with the database. So let's add it directly. Here we have the database CRD, and you can see there is this database reclaim policy that is retained by default. So basically, if you delete the CRD, the database still is present in the PostgreSQL. But if we edit this and we change this to delete, if we delete the CRD, the database will be disappear. Will have disappeared. Let me see. There is no Bergen anymore. So bye-bye Bergen. Okay. No. Let me show you also a PostgreSQL measure version upgrade. So it's very, very simple. It's not, it's a, the measure upgrade is the cold upgrade with -- link. So it's something that the operator take care, but it's a procedure inside the operator, let's say. So we can edit the cluster, Norway. And we can go from 16 directly to 18. Let's try. Let's grab some information here. Upgrading major Postgres version. Let's see also. We can take a look also the pod. You see, there is the job running, performing the upgrade. And then, at some point, it will, it will happen. We can also take a look at the operator logs, if they say something about. Okay, waiting for distance to become active. Nice. Let's take a look at the logs. Yeah, this one, yeah, is very, basically you cannot do anything during this operation. But again, if you set up a logical replication and blah, 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 you can avoid, you can switch when it's already upgraded, basically.
You can't sort of do this instance, for instance. You cannot do this instance and promoting one or the others to the master while you're doing it, no?
You can use the logical replication to achieve this. So basically, if you have all full declarative with database and publication and subscription, you can try to achieve almost a zero downtime upgrade. So let's take a look at the logs, because they could be interesting. If you see, there are the reconciliation loop. The operator is very, should be in debug mode, I guess. So it's very verbose. If you see, are JSON logs. And yeah, this is not very interesting, the latest one, but at some point we will have noticed the one about the upgrade. Let's see if the upgrade actually happened. Nice, we have pod 1, 4, and 5. I can show you also some metrics. So let's do something like kubectl port forward. Something like that. Oh. Let's do this. Don't know if you can see. But yeah, there is this is what is exposed at the metrics host, the localhost 9109 at the port 9187 is kind of our default for this. And there is a lot of information. Some of them are blank because, for example, we don't have the backup, but some are populated, as you can see. And you can add your own metrics. There is the chance to do this. Okay, let me think if we want to do something else. Or if you, yeah, if you have any question, please. It depends on what you want to do. For one example is the if you want to declare and use the volume snapshot backup, you need your storage class to be able, the CSI driver should be able to perform a volume snapshot backup. Basically, all the latest one are able to support this since months now. But yeah, there is this kind of direct interaction between the operator and the storage of Kubernetes. One of the maintainers actually is working on the Kubernetes storage. So we are heavily in touch with what we care the most in terms of database operator, that is the storage. Is our if some suggestion, please use this instead of that. If we have any benchmark or not, you say. Sorry, I miss.
Is there a direct recommendation not to use NFS, or would you say it's fine?
No, there is not. There is not a recommendation. We try to be agnostic of the kind of storage. But yeah, you need to test. I mean, you should test. You should set up some benchmark and see. But this again, this is not because of the operator. This is something that the DBA will do. Anyway. If I see from the support, but even the conferences, a lot of questions are not related to the operator, are more how can I do this on Kubernetes, or how can I do this on Postgres? I received a question, I was in Italy, and the question was, can I not think about the storage class or about the storage in general? And I answer, if you're a DBA, you don't want to think about your storage. So, I mean, it's just shifting the question where it was. It's not because of the operator. Do you have any other question?
Yeah. Does downgrade of the Postgres version work?
It's not possible with the major version upgrade. If it is a major version, there is a webhook preventing it. I received the same question and I checked. I wasn't sure, but I suppose this. We checked, there is a webhook that preventing to do the opposite. So from 18 to 17, you can do it. I think that you could downgrade the minor version. I'm not sure there is a webhook in that scenario, but within a minor the compatibility is way higher, so you can do it. We support this with the minor upgrade is something that is from day 0. Basically, you just recreate the pod with a new image. Any other question?
Minor
You should update the manifest. Here I just put 16 or 18 without specifying anything, so the operator is able to understand and perhaps to pick up the latest. But if you want a precise one, you need to be more verbose and specify the full image. Yeah, you can interact directly with the manifest. It's how it works. You declare what you want. Yeah.
What will be the big benefit of running Postgres on Kubernetes instead of a managed service?
I would say that if your team, if your company, if your if your application is already on Kubernetes, you should do it. If you're not using Kubernetes, you're just buying problems because you need to learn Kubernetes. At that point, you are once the data are there, you need to take care. So I would suggest that if you're already there, do it. If you want to move there, do it. But if you're not there, no, don't do it. This is also what I see with the support. So yeah, sometimes it's more Kubernetes knowledge. I mean, if your team is not on Kubernetes, why you should put the data there? So yeah, this is perhaps it's very, very easy, my answer, very simple, but is what I experience. Yeah.
Another question. When upgrading the Kubernetes cluster, will there be downtime for your service, for the Postgres service?
I guess, you could create the node, so you have to create the...
I have a feeling there will be a lot of downtime running it this way.
But I guess that if you upgrade, if you have two nodes and you upgrade first the first one, you switch your application there, then you upgrade the other one, why you should have too much downtime? I mean, you cannot run it.
You have to invest a lot of time in upgrading and keeping it running.
You need to set up your architecture able to be resilient to that from the first moment, because at that point you will have your pod recreated for sure.
Kubernetes does help you with those kind of things, but it's a basic Kubernetes thing to do that, right?
Yeah.
Unless you are sort of understand.
Yeah, it's something that you will do for any application. In Kubernetes, you need to upgrade. Yeah.
If you want to use the PostGIS extension, is that a separate image?
Yeah, I show you in the slide. There are some community members that are maintaining them and building them, but also there are examples on how to build your own image. So if you have your custom image with the extension N, you can put it inside. You can actually, there are examples of a Docker file and how to can have an image that the operator is able to digest and to have everything already there. Yeah. The operand will deserve another talk, because it's very interesting what you can do. Actually, for example, with the latest Postgres, the PostgreSQL 18, there is a very nice feature that allows you to add an extension without rebuilding the image, because you have a folder. You can declare a path. So even Postgres has become a little declarative, and we asked for this, we rely on this, we work together to have this patch merged. So with Postgres 18, you can also save some time, because if you want to change image, or if Postgres has changes, so you have the extension compatible with the new changes, you can do it in a more easier way without rebuild the image. So even Postgres is a bit more declarative, if you want to say that. Yeah.
But if you want to declare schemas, users, everything inside the database, what do
you can declare extension. You can declare. We have a support in the spec for the roles that we are going. Was in the roadmap at some point, and we moved it to have also the role as a CRD. And you have the publication, and you have the subscription, and you can have the puller. So there is a lot of stuff that is already declarative and interact together. And you can have, then it's up to you to trust the manifest and not to intervene, not to enter in the database and be an admin there, because otherwise the operator can try to reconcile something, but we also choose to do something like apply and forget. So we apply this database. If there is a user deleting, okay, the CRD can reconcile and see that it's not the database anymore, but if you change something, you change an extension, we are not able to keep track of anything, because at some point there are two heads doing stuff, not just one central point.